Welcome back to Flip That Script. I'm Holly.
And I'm Dana.
Today we're sharing the heart of what inspired the She Reigns Now Retreat, a space for women to rise, soar, and conquer. In this episode, we'll dive into what it means to claim your power, rewrite the story you've been told, and step fully into your reign. This isn't just a conversation, it's a movement. One that begins the moment you decide the crown is already yours.
We often think of stress as something that only lives in the shoulders, in the clenched jaw, or in that familiar knot in the stomach. But the truth is, stress lives in the subconscious. It builds grooves in the mind the way that rivers carve through stone.
The subconscious doesn't just remember what happened, it remembers how it felt. And when we carry unprocessed stress, those grooves can turn into trenches we fall into again and again. Hypnotherapy offers a way to redirect the flow, to carve new channels of calm, clarity, and courage.
Ask yourself this: when was the last time that you sat in a circle of women, not to fix, not to plan, not to hustle through another to-do list, but simply to breathe, to laugh, to be? For most of us, it's hard to even remember a moment like that. A moment of gathering just for the joy of it, with no chore waiting, no burden pulling, no role to perform, just women together, alive in the moment.
Science says those moments may matter more than you realize, not just for your soul, but for your body, your mind, and even your years on earth.
So before we dive in and talk about our She Reigns Now retreat, let's name the load, because globally, on average, women do about 2.8 more hours of unpaid care every day than men. You're not failing, you're carrying a system. And that's not just me saying it, that's the United Nations.
And we feel it. Half of the women say their stress is higher than last year, and almost half are worried about their mental health. You're not too sensitive. The world's just been too loud.
Even when women are the primary earners, we still do more at home. 2 extra hours of caregiving, 2.5 more hours of housework every single week. Because effort isn't the issue, the setup is.
And that's why we're here, not to fix you, but to hand you back the keys.
This is not a spa day, it's a reclamation.
Take your seat, take your breath,
And take your crown.
I'm Holly, certified hypnotherapist, co-founder of She Reigns Now, and co-host of Flip That Script. Basically, I spend my days helping women wake up their inner selves.
And I'm Dana Closano, also a certified hypnotherapist, co-founder and co-host. And my job is to make sure that Holly doesn't get too out of hand while she's doing it.
Yes. Please. You're the one who says, let's burn it all down and rebuild it from the ashes.
Well, that's because the ashes are where the magic is. We started She Reigns Now because we were tired of watching brilliant, capable women give every ounce of themselves to everyone else and then act surprised when they're running on fumes.
Exactly. It's like, why am I so tired? Maybe it's because you've been the chef, therapist, Uber driver, crisis manager, and peacekeeper since 1999.
Right? Just think about how early it starts, too. Little girls are praised for being helpful, for cleaning out, or for taking care of siblings. Teenagers are applauded for multitasking and for getting good grades while also keeping everyone else happy.
Adults rewarded for self-sacrifice. No wonder rest feels rebellious. No wonder joy feels like something we have to justify. Rest has been painted as weakness, but in truth, it is one of the most radical forms of power. Every time a woman closes her eyes and chooses to rest without apology, she rewrites centuries of reprogramming.
And we're here to remind you what it feels like to live for you again.
And to hand you the crown you've been earning every day.
Gathering together as a group of women isn't just nice, it's actually life giving.
Studies show that women who stay connected, who gather with friends, and who maintain a rich social life often live longer and healthier lives.
Anthropologists sometimes call women's circles the original medicine. Long before hospitals and self help books, healing often happened around the fire through stories, laughter, tears, and touch.
Modern science now confirms what ancient wisdom already knew. Women's nervous systems regulate in relationship. When we sit together in trust, our heartbeats begin to sing, our breath slows, oxytocin rises, and the body takes a deep sigh of relief. Even our cycles align over time. Connection isn't an accessory, it's a biological requirement.
Now, here's what the research tells us. One of the largest long term studies of women's health, the Nurses' Health Study, found that women who gathered in groups lived about 10% longer than women who were isolated.
Even more, they had a 41% higher odds of reaching age 85 or older. And this wasn't just because they were healthy to begin with. Even after accounting for things like diet, smoking, exercise, or depression, the advantage held strong.
Other research backs this up. A sweeping review of 148 studies found that women with strong social ties had a 50% greater chance of survival compared to those with weaker connections. That means social connection is as powerful for your health as quitting smoking or exercising regularly.
Even more striking, women who are socially isolated face a significantly higher risk of early death compared to women who are well connected. Social isolation has been linked to heart disease, stroke, dementia, depression, and anxiety.
And just this past decade, a major meta analysis confirmed it again. Loneliness and isolation increase the risk of premature death by 26 to 29%.
What does this all mean in everyday life? The more women gather and support each other, the stronger our bodies, minds, and lifespans become. Social interaction is not a luxury, it's a health tool, just as potent as diet, movement, and rest.
And science has this sterile word for what we're describing. They call it social buffering. And it means that stress lands softer, cortisol lowers faster, and recovery happens quicker when we're not alone.
But we like to say it's like this sisterhood, it's medicine, to scream together, to laugh until you cry, to dance barefoot under the stars, to have another woman look at you in the eye and say, I see you. I've got you. That's medicine the pharmacy can't bottle.
I got you, Holly. So let's check in. And be honest, ask yourselves, how many times have you felt guilty for resting? Be honest with yourselves.
Now, how many of you said yes? And how many of you may have felt a little embarrassed to even tell yourself yes, or perhaps even didn't want to appear weak even to yourself. But that's not weakness. And isn't it wild? A man takes a nap on the couch and he's recharging.
Oh, yes, but when a woman rests, suddenly she's told she's lazy or slacking, or my personal favorite, must be nice.
And sometimes it isn't even other people's saying it. It's the voice in our own heads, whispering, shouldn't you be folding laundry right now?
Let's call it like it is. That voice is not your truth. That's conditioning. And it's time to tell her to take several seats.
We grew up in a system that trained us to see rest as indulgence, to see joy as optional, to see ourselves as background characters.
But here's the good news: conditioning can be rewired.
So, what do many women actually want? It's not complicated. We want space.
We want energy.
We want joy.
We want to stop asking for permission to take up space.
We want to stop surviving and start rising.
When we say women want space, we don't just mean a quiet room. We mean the kind of space where your soul can stretch, where your voice can rise without being cut off, where your tears can fall without shame.
Desire itself needs space to breathe. Without it, it curls in on itself, becoming resentment, exhaustion, or numbness. Giving yourself space isn't selfish, it's oxygen. It's saying, I am worth the air I breathe, worth the ground I stand on, and worth the joy that flows through me.
And that's why we created She Reigns Now. Not someday, not when the kids are older, not when the bills are lighter, but now.
Let's get real clear. This is not a wine and whining weekend.
And it sure as heck isn't beige hotel conference rooms with stale muffins.
Or a nap in the hammock and forget your life for 48 hours retreat.
Because you're not here to escape your life. You're here to remember it.
This retreat is part right, part reclamation, and part revolution.
And there's a reason ancient cultures wove ritual into every stage of life, like birth, marriage, death, harvest, even war. Ritual helps us mark the shift from oneself to another. And when a woman screams into the night sky or shatters a board with her hand, it's not just symbolic, it's somatic.
The body gets the message. Something has changed. And when the body believes, the mind follows. That's why what happens in retreat doesn't stay in retreat. It follows you home in your cell, in your breath, in your posture, in your very sense of self.
And here's the part that nobody expects. Because yes, there will be meditation. And yes, there will be deep inner work.
But there will also be moments where we get loud.
Because sisterhood isn't built in polite circles with hushed voices. It's forged in fire. And when you see another woman break through something and it ignites that part of you that's been waiting for permission to rise, to roar, and to remember who you really are, it's an instant transformation. I mean, I remember how empowered I felt watching Holly break her first board.
Oh, yes. I remember that retreat. And I remember standing in front of my very first board. And I will never forget that moment. Staring at this solid piece of wood while my mind whispered, you can't do this. But when my hand went through, splitting it in two, I realized it was never about the board. It was about every story I'd been carrying about being too weak, too small, not good enough, shrinking in every room I walked into, biting my tongue to keep silent. And when that board cracked, so did the line. And in that instance, I jumped up and down with joy because I knew I had touched something so much bigger than wood. That moment represented freedom, strength, and truth that I was capable of breaking through anything that had held me back or would ever try to hold me back.
And she did it all with a full set of manicure. And honestly, I still feel that rush of power just hearing the story. And it really makes me want to just go break things.
And that's why I'm around, to make sure Dana only breaks boards.
Facts. And since I can't break boards here, let's give you a little teaser, an example of how we'll be breaking patterns instead. As Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Just go ahead and close your eyes for just a moment. Picture yourself standing in a wide circle of women, and you can feel the ground beneath your feet, solid, steady. And in the center, a fire glows. Heat on your skin, sparks lifting into the night. And around you, the hum of energy rises, like the air itself is waiting for you. Take a breath. Feel that familiar tightness in your chest, the words you swallowed, the anger you tucked away, the grief you never got to name. All of it sitting there heavy. And now, imagine opening your mouth. At first, maybe just a whisper, maybe it catches in your throat. And then just let it rip. A scream so raw it shakes your whole body, or a sound that's been trapped inside for years, finally breaking free.
See it leave you, flying into the night sky, into the wind, into the fire. Feel your chest open, your body lighter. Notice the women around you screaming too. Different voices, one force. Together, a roar that cannot be ignored.
And when the sound fades, notice what's left. Space, freedom, a deeper breath than you've taken in years. That is the power of release. That is the power of sisterhood. And that is the power waiting in you.
Go ahead and open your eyes. This was just a little taste of what you'll find here. And that's why we'll work with the body, because the body remembers. There will be movement. There will be rights. There will be those moments when your body does the talking, whether that's through breaking wood or letting your lungs roar the truth.
And here's the thing. When you scream in that circle, you're not screaming alone. You're screaming with. And the sound becomes something bigger than you. It becomes a force.
That's where sisterhood happens. Not in comparison, not in competition, but in those raw moments of release.
And when you see yourself reflected in another woman, in her strength, her rage, her joy, her freedom,
You won't just leave with tools. You'll leave with sisters.
sisters who have screamed with you, broken with you, and risen with you.
And let's be real, that kind of bond doesn't fade.
This is work designed to light your body back up, clear the mental fog, and remind you that your power was never lost. It's only been waiting.
And that's why we call the first retreat Rise, because that's what women are doing, rising. So, what does this all actually look like? For me, I enjoy leading morning priming meditations, subconscious rewiring, and tools that help you flip that script when the old voice creeps in.
And I enjoy guiding hypnotic journeys, sacred storytelling, and a little shadow alchemy because sometimes that piece that you've been hiding is the exact jewel needed for your crown.
And this is why I have to rear in.
Please, they love it.
What makes this powerful, though, is the mix structure and fire, gentle and fierce. And together we create transformation that sticks. So let's just do another little exercise together. Go ahead and close your eyes just for a moment. I want you to picture yourself arriving at the retreat. You step through the door. Maybe you notice the smell of essential oils or the warmth of candlelight. Maybe you hear the soft hum of voices welcoming you in. You set your bag down, and along with it, you've put down the invisible bags you've been carrying, the ones filled with everyone else's needs, the ones stuffed with shoulds, the ones that have been weighing your shoulders down for years. Just feel the lightness of not holding them anymore.
And now imagine 3 days later, it's time to leave. You walk towards the same door, but you're not the same woman who walked in. Notice your posture. Your shoulders are higher but softer. Your chest is open. Your breath comes easier. And your face has that glow, not from makeup or filters, but from something real inside of you. Your energy feels steady, clear, radiant. Imagine stepping back into your life like this, lighter, stronger, and unapologetically you.
And as you picture that version of yourself, just ask yourself, what's different? What did you release? What did you reclaim? And how good does it feel to know she was always in you, waiting for this moment to remember her?
And that right there is why we're doing this. Now, go ahead and open your eyes because you deserve to return carrying something different: confidence, clarity, and energy.
And maybe a little sacred mischief.
So here's the invitation. Our first retreat, Rise, is happening the second weekend in March at a beautiful private Airbnb in a small town in Virginia. And this is an all-inclusive retreat. It will include your lodging. All meals and snacks will be provided, all materials you will need to work with, and a few goodies to take home. All you need to provide is your travel to and from, and your personal items and any extra that you would like to bring with you.
For those days, you'll experience morning meditations, afternoon group hypnosis, ritual, community connection, deep reflective exercises, body movement, and evenings around the fire, and also tools you can take home.
And space, because we know half of the healing happens in the pauses.
The retreat isn't the end of the story, it's the portal. What makes this different from a weekend escape is integration.
You don't just leave rested, you leave rescripted. Every morning breath, every hypnotic journey, every ritual becomes a thread you can pull back into your everyday life.
Imagine sipping a cup of coffee at your kitchen table and just feeling your shoulders drop because your body remembers what it felt like to be free.
That's what you carry home. Not only memories etched into your bones, but a sisterhood that endures. And because this retreat is intimate by design, space is limited. So every voice, each breakthrough, every bond is deeply felt. And remember, once those seats are filled, the doors close.
The connection doesn't stop when you leave. There is a special group for the retreat so that we can continue to connect, lift each other up, and rise together. If you're ready to stop handing out your crown and start wearing it, visit shereignsnow.com. We're ready for you.
So let's circle back because you're not failing. You're carrying a system.
And it's time to set that system down.
This is not a spa day, it's a reclamation.
Take your seat, take your breath,
And take your crown.
because she reigns now.
So thank you for spending this time with us today. And remember, your crown was always yours.
Keep rewriting your story, keep lifting your voice, and keep stepping into your power.
And if you want a little daily boost, you can join us every morning for our free meditation.
Please don't forget our hypnotic imagery journey every Sunday night, an amazing way to reset for the week ahead.
And if you're ready to take your crown back, check out the She Reigns Now retreat at shereignsnow.com or message us directly for details.
If today's episode spoke to you, like, share, and subscribe. Help us reach more women who are ready to rise.
So until next time,
Stay bold, stay true.
and keep flipping that script. Bye, Flip Fam. Second.
Bye.